Hi everybody, this is Darren here. Okay, today I'm going to share with you a Singapore focused REITs that have been listed in Singapore for more than 10 years. This is none other than Mapletree Commercial Trust. Okay, Mapletree Commercial Trust I think should be a household name to a lot of people. But before we look into the risk aspect, we need to know who is the sponsor. Okay, from the side here, you can see that Mapletree Investment Private Limited is the sponsor for Mapletree Industrial Trust, and Mapletree Investment belong to Temasek. The sponsor have a significant interest in the REITs, which is more than 30%, around 32.4%. Okay, which I feel that is considered quite a significant interest for that REITs aspect. Okay, and when it comes to risk aspect, we also look at size, as size really matter when it comes to a risk. It help them to grow in that aspect. Okay, so Mapletree Commercial Trust currently with a market capitalization of close to 7 billion. Okay, and it is currently the number 4th largest REITs listed in Singapore. Okay, but sooner or later it will become the number 5th, as Mapletree Industrial Trust has just do equity fundraising to buy more data center. Okay, but nevertheless, the top 5 will still be a top 5 biggest REITs in market capitalization in Singapore, which is why I think it's worthwhile for us to take a look onto these REITs. Okay, and what are the property does Mapletree Commercial Trust have? Okay, they practically have property practically on the Singapore southern front, around the West Coast Highway, Pasir Panjang Road there. Okay, and total they got about 4 office building and 1 retail space. Okay, which is why the famous retail space that everyone knows is called the Vivo City. It is a very gigantic shopping mall. Okay, followed by they got the Mapletree Business City, M Tower, which was formerly known as a PSA building. Okay, together with the Alexandra Retail Center, and we got the Mapletree Anson and Merrill Lynch Harbourfront. Okay, the only property they have inside the CBD is actually Mapletree Anson. So you can see from that is what is the key point of Mapletree Commercial Trust is their office space are actually really at the city fringe. Okay, which is a bit different from some of the REITs. Their office building is practically all inside the CBD. Okay, so this is one of the attractive I feel that about Mapletree Commercial Trust in this aspect. Okay, let's look at some of the financial indicator on that. Okay, you can look at the gearing ratio of Mapletree Commercial Trust is around 33.9% as of 31st of March 2021. Okay, which I will take it as a very healthy gearing ratio in this aspect. Okay, it is not on the low side and it's also not on the high side. So it's not on the high side means that they got opportunity for them to buy more properties, as their gearing is still not on the high side aspect. Okay, and the interest coverage ratio is 4.4 times, which is pretty healthy, especially at current COVID period, and they still able to maintain a very healthy interest coverage ratio. One special thing to point out about this is you look at the unencumbered asset. Okay, you look at the unencumbered asset for Mapletree Commercial Trust. Okay, which is 100%. Okay, this shows that actually the financial institutions are very confident, okay, on the financial status of Mapletree Commercial Trust. Okay, which why the debt they borrowed do not have any asset back on that. Okay, so this is a very powerful point. Okay, and it also indirectly shows that how confident the financial institution are very confident on Mapletree Commercial Trust. They are willing to lend them money without any financial asset backing in this aspect. Okay, they have just announced a result. Okay, last month. Okay, and we look at their full year result. From the result we can actually see that, okay, for FY1920 and FY2021, okay, the gross revenue, okay, there's only a slight dip. Okay, there's no sign because one thing is because of main thing is because Mapletree Business City 2, okay, has started to mature and result in more income, contribute more income to that. Despite Vivo City has a drop. Okay, we know that due to COVID-19, we will expect all those retail mall will be definitely affected. So Vivo City will not be spared. They are being affected, but because of their divestment, diversified property aspect, they're able to stand strong on their gross revenue. Same thing for their net property income. You can see there is practically no drop in their net property income. Okay, over this COVID period aspect. Okay, and let's look at the property occupancy. Okay, we can see that there's weakness is mainly the M Tower. Okay, as of March 2021, okay, you can see December 2020 they only have 71.1%. Actually, it's a drastic drop from March 2020. You can see that it's a drop in this aspect. Okay, however, as of now, the actual one you have actually picked up to 75.5, and the committed one is 91.7. So you can see that despite main tenant have started to shift out from M Tower, okay, but they are able to very fast to pick up, get other people to replace the main tenant, and you can see the occupancy rate can fill up so fast. Okay, so this is one thing we can see that how good are they, their leasing side, and how much people are so much interested in getting rent from their office building expect. Okay, and let's look at our performance. Okay, whatever thing we talk about the REITs, okay, how good are they or not is mainly is the performance, because performance is also sometimes it's called a track record, and this type of thing cannot be lied. Okay, these are real data, so this is how people will see the REITs perform. Okay, so we can look at the Mapletree Commercial Trust, their IPO since April 2011. Over the past 10 years, you can see the revenue have been growing every year. The net property income have been growing every year. Okay, despite the COVID, okay, despite the COVID impact, their gross revenue and their net property income don't really drop. Okay, that means they have able to sustain well during this market downturn aspect. Okay, and look at available for distribution. The actually amount for distribution actually, although there is a drop between, okay, you may look at full year, there's 314.7. It's very high, but we have to take note that because of last year, actually they have hold back some money, okay, due to retain some dividends supposed to pay out to investor because of COVID, okay, for any operation matters. So they start to redistribute. You can see the full year is very high. So don't take this full year as a very high. You may want to take the past 2 years, okay, because now it's a very special period due to COVID. The past 2 years as an average, but nevertheless, the amount available for distribution never really dropped. Okay, and most important is the DPU. Okay, DPU is what we really see that when you want to buy a REIT, you want your dividend to increase year on year. Indirectly, you want your dividend to indirectly hedge inflation. Okay, and you look at the CAGR for the DPU is 4.5%, exclude FY 2020 and 2021. Okay, and we can see that it's a big jump in the DPU 949. Okay, but it is from a low of 8 to 949, and also because this 949 includes some of the dividend actually supposed to pay out in FY 1920. So sometimes when you want to look at this, you may want to look at the 2 financial year as 1 financial year to take a look and divide by 2. That's the simple math in that aspect. But so the DPU actually pretty well maintained throughout this COVID period, okay, compared to pre-COVID level. It never increased, but actually able to maintain. So this indirectly show you the strength of the risk manager, the strength of the risk, and how they are able to overcome and manage this property during this pandemic period aspect. Okay, and of course the property value have been growing up over the years. It have been stagnant for the past 2 years as there is no new property acquisitions. Thus the investment property, but they're able to maintain the value of the property over the past 2 years. And the net asset value have been growing up. It start with 95 cents and grow to 1.72 cents. Okay, Why we want to look at net asset value and also look at DPU? If a REIT's DPU have been growing up, okay, indirectly it also means the share price will definitely go up. Okay, indirectly. So do take note, when a REIT's DPU going up, it will tell you that indirectly the share price will go up. Okay, let's look at their performance. Okay, and since IPO to 31st of March 2021, they have made a capital appreciation of 140%. Okay, 140.9%. Okay, in capital appreciation. So imagine that you buy this REIT since IPO to now for the and hold for 10 years. Actually, you have made a 140% gain in capital, and that exclude the dividend collected. How much dividend have you collected? 90.4%. Okay, 90.4%. What does that mean? That means that when you put in $1 in to invest in this REIT at IPO time, actually you take back 90 cents in dividends. Okay, so what is left is only 10 cents in the market, and what is your $1 now have grown to? Have grown up to 140%. Okay, so this is something that you need to think of that. And so the total return you have when you invest $1 into this REITs now have go to $2.31. Okay, including dividends. So that is what your return have been. Okay, so it's a pretty impressive track record for these REITs. Okay, but what we see now is in the past. Okay, and this is the performance graph. Okay, you can see that they have been doing very well despite the COVID pandemic. They actually have come down. Okay, and let's look at how they have performed during COVID period. As last year, March, April, they have dropped to a low of 1.46. Okay, 1.46. However, they have made a very fast recovery by June. Okay, they actually, this is their net asset value. The net asset value about $1.71. Okay, you can see that they're constantly able to stay afloat above the NAV throughout, since June onward, throughout this period. Although November there is a dip, but they still never fall below their NAV price. Okay, so this indirectly tell you the strength of the REITs aspect. Okay, but what we share here is all the past data. Okay, you say over, but going forward we want to look at the REITs. Can it still continue to grow, and is there any potential to grow? Okay, because if you want to invest in the REIT, these are all the past performance doesn't guarantee future returns. Okay, but we also want to know that in the past they performed well, but in future would there be a potential for them to grow? So we want to look at the growth potential of Mapletree Commercial Trust. Okay, first, okay, so now let's look at VivoCity. Okay, as VivoCity contribute 40% of the REIT's revenues. Okay, for the thus VivoCity will be a very crucial property for this REITs aspect. Okay, and because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19, the VivoCity is definitely, because it's mainly is doing on retail, so it's affected badly. And as of 31st of March, the shopper traffic is still down 50%. The tenant sale is still down 23.3%. Okay, so we are still not off the wood yet, and we are now in phase 2 Titan alert. This will indirectly push back the shopper traffic further, push back the tenant sale further. So although they are recovery halfway already, now have to come down a bit. Okay, but we look at the way they do it is that we are quite confident that when everything is over, they should be able to recover. And we know that crisis pandemic will show over one day. It's just a matter of time. And thus, we are very positive that you will definitely go back and look at the shopper traffic over tenant sale. This is a graph comparison. Okay, so although we are still a bit, there's still a gap. So this indirectly, to me, this indirectly also means opportunity. When everything over already, if the sales go back to normal, pre-pandemic level, so what does that mean to your revenue of the REITs will definitely go up. So when the REITs go up, means what is the DPU you get will definitely also go up. So to me, this will be in a way of opportunity. It's just that we don't know, we don't really have a time frame of when will it be fully recovered. Okay, this is due to the pandemic. But what about the future growth prospect? As a REITs, when they want to grow, they need to acquire property. Okay, that's called the inorganic growth. They need to constantly buy properties, and we have to look at, is there any pipelines from the sponsor, okay, to give to the REITs. Okay, and there is several pipeline for them. From this slide, you can see that you got Harbourfront Tower 2, Harbourfront Tower 1, SPI Development Site, Harbourfront Centre, St. James Power Station, PSA Vista. Actually, you can see all are along the southern front, waterfront area, okay? And these are the properties, okay, are the pipelines of property for Mapletree Commercial Trust to acquire from the sponsor. But of course, before they acquire, they need to look at whether is it value accretive and is it year accretive or not. Okay, so but with that in mind, we know that there is a potential for them to further acquire property to grow in this aspect. Okay, and there's another thing we know that at 2019 rally, our Prime Minister has shown us that this Greater Southern Waterfront Plan. Okay, so this Greater Southern Waterfront Plan and happen to be that Mapletree properties all fall within that area. All fall within that area. And what would that mean? This will means that the property value of the area will most likely will appreciate over time, okay, rather than depreciate over time, okay, because there is a plan to develop that area. Okay, this indirectly will make the property there still may able to maintain the value, or indirectly may able to grow the value in the aspect. Actually, this is a good news for Mapletree Commercial Trust. So what I share with you on this video is my view and how I look at Mapletree Commercial Trust. Okay, it doesn't constitute any buy or sell recommendation. So please do your own due diligence on that. If you find that you have benefit from this video, do like and share this video, and also to subscribe and press the bell button so that in future if there is any content, you'll be notified on that. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and I shall see you in the next one.